Hey guys, what's going on? This is Daaro DS. Welcome back for more Higurashi When They Cry. And today we last left off. Last episode we finished chapter 1 and we're heading on to chapter 2 in this. So we're going to continue. I took it a little too easy in the morning of my day off. I was totally late. Today was the day Rena and Mion were going to show me around Hinamizawa. Rena and Mion were already waiting at the meeting. Like always, we're fashionably late. Are we fashionably late? No. But it's totally our fault. Hey, Chan, you're late. Sorry. I was... the show I was watching last night was really interesting. Blame that. Oh, so that's your excuse for being late and keeping two girls waiting? John, don't get you... Just got here yourself. Last night's episode of A Day in the Life of was interesting, wasn't it? He was just as guilty as me. When I was carrying a pretty heavy-looking handbag. What is that? Mion answered my unspoken question with a wink. That's right. Rena did make a picnic. Hey, Chan, after you left, Rena pulled out all the stops. It's not like I forced her to do it. It was nothing, so don't worry about it, okay? Don't worry about it, okay? It's been like this since last night, you know. Can't you take responsibility for this? Quite alright, I'm a man after all. I'll take responsibility. Huh? Responsibility for what? For what? Ah! As we both turned around and slowly looked at Rena, our gazes drifted towards the massive handbag she was carrying. Didn't seem logically feasible that was probably filled with lunch boxes. Except this is Rena we're talking about here. About 2 kilos, I guess. When Rena was picking it up, I could see she was struggling a little bit. I say 5. You're exaggerating. Keiichi is a boy after all. I thought he could probably eat a lot, so I made a lot, okay? Let's get going. Heave ho! Just from the way that she was lifting it up, I couldn't believe the only things in there were lunch boxes. Correction, I say 5 kilos too. I'll help out, but all of it needs to be eaten. I won't forgive you if you make Rena sad, got it? The only thing I could do at that moment was exercise a bit to make myself hungrier. Jeez. Like that's gonna help. Having finished with the pleasantries, we began our leisurely stroll. A carefree walk, bathed in the gentle morning sun. Couldn't have imagined something so wholesome existed during my time in the city. These were the boonies after all. No slovenly desk jockeys trudging to work on their weekends out here. It was really a nice place, peaceful and quiet. As sparsely populated as the village was, you could still run into people just by walking around. What did I do? Okay. I didn't do anything, I hope. Okay. I hit something, I don't know what, but everything just minimized. Like, literally everything minimized. But we're good. Ah, good day. Good day. Oh, you would be Maebara. Maebara, good, I believe. My two companions exchanged greetings with everybody we ran across. All of these passerby even knew my name. When did I become this famous? We passed 3 people, and when all 3 of them knew me, I sort of feel a bit paranoid. Haha, it's a bit sad to say. Everyone knows everyone since there are so few people in Hinamizawa. Well, that means when an unfamiliar face walks by, they automatically assume that it's Maebara. They automatically assume that it's Maebara fella. We just moved here. Yeah, that's how it works out. It was the process of elimination you could only pull off in a place like this. But it was quite effective. From now on, I better make sure to maintain a good reputation. The day I'm discovered accidentally gawking at a dirty magazine in the bookstore, I can expect all the villagers labeling me as a lech by the next day. Hinamizawa is not to be trifled with. That's not the end of this nightmare. Of course I know them. It's the first person I met when I was old man Takezawa from the Makino bike shop. His hobbies are bonsai and playing the flute. Next, we met the grocer's second son, Daisuke-kun. His hobby is sharpshooting, and he hopes to be an ace sniper in the future. And the person we just met was Mio-san, the nurse from the clinic. Her hobbies are bird watching and photography. You know the names of everyone who you pass by. Even their profiles. What the heck? Seeing my surprise, Mion and Rena exchanged looks and burst into laughter. Well, yeah. We're not like the city. We're not like the city where people hardly know each other, hardly know their neighbors. Let's try it out. You there, who am I? You're Keiichi Maebara. You say some mean things, but you're actually kind of a kind, shy person. It's been 3 weeks since you transferred here. Your hobbies are taking afternoon naps. Lately you switched over to wearing boxers. Didn't you? That's enough, that's enough! Boxers? Boxers? Enough of that. Apparently there's absolutely nothing you can keep hidden here. Hinamizawa was not a place to be trifled with. Feels more like you guys are showing me off rather than showing me around. That's right. We're parading around like this after all. Don't you all think so too? That Keiichi-chan is sitting right here in Hinamizawa. Population in Hinamizawa is shrinking. So the villagers welcome anybody who's new here. I thought about brushing it off with something to the effect of, "You're kidding me," but I held back. Had I ever been greeted by someone who just moved into the city like this before? Thinking about that made me believe that what they said wasn't a joke at all. Passed by another person. Of course, we were called out too, again the same way. Hi, good day. It was wonderful seeing you getting along. Lady here is Fujishima-san. Good day. Hi, Maebara-kun. How wonderful of you to having our lovely girl on each arm. How are you? Getting used to life here? Instead of regurgitating the prepared response like I would have in the city, I responded with an emphatic nod. The old woman chuckled, voicing her appreciation of how energetic I was. Good. As I looked back over to Rena and Mion, they gave me a wink. So now then, about time to have lunch, maybe? Maybe? Rena's brilliant smile signaled the approach of an event that both Mion and I were trying to forget. We both looked at each other. I'm a man. I'll do what I can. But this is just too much. It's fine, Kei-chan. Leave it to this old man. Mion has never seemed to be as reliable as she does right now. I expect no less from the class representative. Rena, if we're going to eat, then I might as well go somewhere with a good view. Ah, yes. Good idea, I agree. Rena nodded, her head happily in response to Mion's proposal. Oh, wow. Resting at the top of the stone stairway, a shrine drawn straight out of my imagination appeared before us. It had worn down a bit through the years, but the fallen leaves had been swept up, giving it a tidy feeling. This here is the Furude shrine. It's probably the place with the best view around. This place. Be sure to remember it. For next break, a festival will be held here. A bit too early in the season for a festival. The Watanagashi isn't a summer festival. Long ago, it used to be a celebration of the end of winter. I was embarrassed for assuming that festivals had to be held in the summer. Now then, spread out the lunch boxes, and there, various colored lunch boxes were placed one after the other on the top of a plastic sheet. It sure did smell delicious. It was Rena's home cooking. It went without saying it would be delicious. But, even possible to finish all of this? Hey, Mion! It'll take more than just a good view to get all this down, you know. Hey, it's you two again. Good afternoon. It was Rika-chan and Satoko. Why are they here? Mion grinned over at me. I see. It was her secret plan to power up the numbers. You have my thanks, Mion. Following up when all the pieces are in place is my specialty. We had just come here since there was such a commotion. What is the meaning of this? Take a look. Time for lunch. Buffet style. A handmade gourmet meal by Rena. I can see that much. Why have you laid out a tarp on our property? The temple is public grounds. It's not yours. Ichi's right. This is everyone's property. Ah, Rika-chan is such a good girl. Have a seat. with us. After opening up a spot for Rika-chan, I promptly turned back to Satoko. Hold on 1 second. Where's my spot? No spot for you. Nothing for you to eat. But don't worry, there's some for you too. None. I'll eat all of hers. I will not allow that. Rika! Here, chopsticks. Both Satoko and I leapt at the boxes, having it out with each other. Man, really, Keiichi-chan, you're really good at leading people on. You might have a talent for this. Have a plate. One for me-chan, and Rika-chan too. Rena whipped out pairs of chopsticks and paper plates. If we don't hurry, it'll all be eaten up. That's right, okay? Shall we commence this battle? Please eat a lot. There's enough for everyone. Rena said as she opened up a thermos. Just then I realized that this lunch was made under the assumption that 5 people would be eating. It didn't change how much there was, but implication behind it was different. What? How would I allow you to have this hamburger? What a bitch. Using your elbow is against the rules, Satoko. And grabbing against my collar is also against the rules. It was a tough battle, blocking her with full momentum. And her elbow in the opening move, Satoko appeared to have the upper hand. But the difference between our proficiency with chopstick proved to be fatal and gave me the upper hand. Ah! The last meatball! Satoko Hojo has been bested. Numb! Satoko and I amiably began choking at the same time, falling backwards and spasming. Rika-chan patted me on the head to clear it, even though it was actually stuck in my throat. Seeing that made Rena blush and breathe heavily in excitement. Okay. It was almost like flowers were floating all around her. My mind is going crazy. Mion advised Rena to refrain from saying anything that could get her locked up. This is how our meals usually go. I do anything in my power. Just as things could stay like this. The intense battle calmed, and finally everyone reached a point where they could begin talking. Receiving a tea from the thermos, I let out a small sigh. I do wonder why there are so few words in Japanese to praise how something tastes. Isn't it because the idea of their togetherness during a meal didn't begin until the modern era? It seems that long ago people ate in silence. It must have made the people preparing the food a bit sad, don't you think? It's probably because back then people were busy even while eating and didn't have the time to compliment the flavor. That's just you. But you know, after hearing that it tastes good makes me happy. That my effort was worth it, I mean. She blushed a little as she said that. It was delicious. It was absolutely perfect timing. Rika-chan struck Rena directly with praise. He looked straight at her with an expression of bewitching innocence. After Rena uttered an unintelligible noise, a ring of smoke rose from her head with an audible poof. Ow! Rika-chan, I'm gonna take you home. No, I mean, thank you. It was really delicious. Rena flushed with excitement, embracing Rika-chan and rubbing her cheek with her Mr. Okay, against her so hard he could almost hear it. You award Rika-chan with her praise. Ta-da! These are special. 2 apple rabbits, after sticking toothpicks into them, thrust them towards Rika-chan. After Rika-chan accepted them, the mood suddenly shifted in a bizarre way. Is it, Satoko? What's with that defiant look? Has everyone prepared the proper praise to receive apples from Rena-san? Don't push yourself. What kind of praise is that you think up with a weak vocab? Oh, well then. Allow me to show you. After Satoko finished Mion, flashed Mion, and gave me a defiant look, she changed the tone of her voice suddenly. Hey! So Rena Oni-chan's lunch. Toko thought it was yummy too. Toko looked up at her proudly while talking cutesy. How was that praise? Not even a persuasion by tears. It's persuasion by cuteness, isn't it? This is Rena's limited special skill. She blushed and her head spun, waving around in circles. Don't fall for it, Rena! Of course, that was impossible for Rena. She glomped Satoko and began rubbing her cheek against her. Satoko was so cute! I'll take you home! Oh. Gab! Push! Satoko was presented with an apple rabbit. After stuffing them into her mouth, she looked over at Mion and me again with a defiant gaze. Satoko only 5 seconds to take Rena. Oh. That's unfair to think she had such a trick. If it upsets you so much, then why not reward Rena-san with some praise? Damn it! Dirty trick. First of all, that wasn't even praise. Toko, you think you've won that? You think you've won that with that, don't you? How do I show you guys something that's much better than your superficial gimmicks? That sounds great, Mion. What kind of trick is it? Kei-chan is gonna be the one who does it. What? Oh, then why don't I have you show me? Why don't I have you show me then? The withering of an old maid. The plan of attack she suggested was wicked. But it was only the thing we had to beat. It was the only thing we had to beat Satoko. After sipping my tea, I started talking very naturally and calmly. Perfect. It really is good, isn't it? This is all freshly made, right? No. Actually, most of it was all frozen stuff. Then which ones did you make fresh? Well, it's embarrassing. Do I really have to say, must I? From the energy of a boy plus handmade lunchbox, her expression had melted into euphoria. I already know this one, right? Then her head turned even deeper shade of red. The words, "I can't believe it," practically written on her face. How can you tell? How? That I made it. Of course, Mion had told me beforehand. It's been perfect so far. After acting like I was shy, I waited a beat. Next would be the finisher. It had your smell. Silence enveloped the area. Rena, face still complete, red, froze solid. With a small yelp, Satoko. Of course, I did too. I would sure like to try one of Rena's homemade apple or something. Even if this was all because I was competing against Satoko, felt like I'd crossed the line by a good 9 yards, I think. Then, at that moment, it was a Tupperware container filled with rabbits. Please eat some Keiichi-kun. Please eat some Keiichi-kun. There's plenty for you. Ark. Only dozens of apples were shoved in my mouth, knocking me over. Oh, Keiichi-kun. Say, Keiichi-kun. My head was forcibly laid upon her lap. Even more apples were shoved into my mouth, while he was squealing one after another was forced in my mouth. More and more apples. How about an apple? Ho ho ho. Looks like he had... How about them apples, Satoko? Looks like I win. Or we won. Great chance. That was a beautiful sacrifice. How's that, Satoko? This is our complete victory, isn't it? I can't believe such trickery. It doesn't bother me at all. Satoko grounded her teeth, mortified. We did it! I claimed victory as my consciousness drifted slowly away from me. At that time, Rena stopped her squealing, and she suddenly realized something. Hey-chan, you're not eating it? Did the salt water make it too strong? Maybe? Looking over, Rika-chan had pulled the toothpick out of the apple rabbit, placed it in her cupped hand. Seemed to be at a loss for what to do. Poor Mr. Rabbit. I feel so sorry for him. I want to save him. That was the sound of blood spurting from Rena's nose. Cute! I will take you home! She shook sporadically. Her head wobbled back and forth. Then, coming back to her senses, she took all of the apples around me, gathered them up with a whip, and then fixed them back up on a plate. Now they're all just fine, okay? Here, I'll give them to you, Rika-chan. Hey! Rika-chan raised up Satoko's hand like a referee having after having that plate of rabbits and shoved to her. He whispered, "This is our victory." What? A comeback? I just don't care. Rough sacrifice ended up being in vain. You must be the sacrifice. It was a fun-filled, crazy day. But as soon as the sun began to set, the end of the day really did come quickly. Later, Rena and Kei-chan. See you tomorrow. Thanks for today, Mion. I had a great time.